Welcome back to Law's Lessons, where I give my tips and takes on the games that we all love. Today we'll be discussing Pokemon that you can use for the upcoming Cinderace Raids. And while I do respect the meta, most of these Pokemon would be what you would consider more off-meta or fun. These are the Pokemon that I've built for damage, and while I will breeze through most of these, the one I am most excited about is Veluza. I have Veluza's EVs maxed out in both special attack and HP. Now for attacks, I have Fillet Away, which will raise his attack, special attack, and speed, both by 2 stages. And then we have Stored Power, which is going to be where our damage comes from, since it will do 20 damage plus 20 more damage per stat change. And then we have Psychic Terrain, which will boost psychic moves and defend against priority moves, which we're mostly worried about the possible Sucker Punch. And then we have Recovery, because Fillet Away will cut our HP in half. Now, Veluza is going to be very risky in raids. It's going to be similar to using a belly drum on like an Azumarill. But first move, we are going to use Fillet Away. We're going to cut our HP in half, and then we're going to buff those 3 stats. And here you can see what I mean about Veluza being risky. We get hit by a critical hit gunk shot, and then we get KO'd. I really don't think I'm going to have to worry about this with Cinderace, as I feel all the moves that it will be throwing will be resisted. But then we just come right back out. We set up the Fillet Away again. We'll then recover so that we don't risk getting KO'd again. And then we're really going for the big damage, so we are going to Fillet Away once more. And then since we are taunted, we are forced to use the Sword Power anyway, and there's that big damage we're looking for. Now the one other damage built mon I will go over is as Pathra. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough and definitely has not been talked about as a Cinderace counter. Now I pretty much only use Pokemon built for damage in solo raiding, so the fact that it can learn both Light Screen and Reflect is huge. And on top of that is its signature move, Lumina Crash, which will lower the raid Pokemon's special defense by 2 stages on each attack. And on top of that, its ability Opportunist will allow it to copy the stat changes of the raid Pokemon, which just makes it a hard hitter. I will also be using Flutter Mane and Annihilate, but I think we all know how they work by now. And now for the part that I'm most excited about is the supports that I will be using. First off, we have Grimmsnarl with its EVs built in special defense and HP. We will be using Taunt, Light Screen, Reflect, and Spirit Break. I will really only be using Grimmsnarl if Cinderace starts using status moves, but that is what Taunt is for, is to make it so he cannot use status moves for 3 turns. And I like to run both Light Screen and Reflect just in case, and because it does cost a TM to swap them back and forth. And then we have Spirit Break that will be doing super effective damage and also lowering his special attack, so it's not going to be near as useful as it was for Charizard. And then we have Gyarados, which I have to admit, right after I built him, I was not very excited for, but once I did use him in a raid, he seemed way better than I expected. We'll be running Helping Hands to help our teammates do just a little more damage. We will be also using Leer to lower defense, Taunt just in case Cinderace is using those status moves, and then Thunder Wave for the paralysis and speed debuff. Now for Gyarados, we come in and immediately use the Taunt because we know that this Reverum will use Taunt on us. After that, we immediately go for the Thunder Wave just in case it makes him miss turns. And then we keep using Helping Hands on the Sylveon until we do get taunted ourselves and have to resort to Cheers. And then once that taunt is up, we Helping Hands the Sylveon for the win. Next up, we have Clodsire with maxed out EVs in defense and HP. We'll have Acid Spray for the ability to debuff Cinderace's special defense by 2 stages, even through the shield. Helping Hand to boost our teammates' attack counter because I feel like it will be spicy, and then Recover to recover our health. We are going to start off with an Acid Spray to apply that debuff to special defense, and you can see we get hit with a taunt, but it doesn't matter because Acid Spray is a damaging move. And now because we cannot use Helping Hands or Recover, we're forced just to Acid Spray and help out that way. And then we just keep using Helping Hands on Sylveon until we win. Next up, we have another one that I'm quite excited for, especially after I saw that his defense is a whopping 328. Of course, we do have his EVs maxed out in HP and defense. Now for his attack Next we have Helping Hand to of course boost our teammates' attacks, and then we have the Will-O-Wisp to apply the burn that will cut Cinderace's attack in half. We have Slack Off for regaining health, and then we have Imprison, which is one of the moves I'm really excited for because it'll stop Cinderace from using Will-O-Wisp if it has it. Now testing the Skeletor did not go that well, mostly because Reverum used Taunt, so I wasn't able to beat him, but I still have faith he's going to be a lot more useful against Cinderace. Now last but certainly not least, we have Doxbun. This one I might actually be the most excited to use because I thought he was going to be very good for Charizard, but it did not turn out that way. But I have faith that he's going to be a lot better for Cinderace, especially with that immunity to fire with Well-Baked Body and the resistance of fighting because he is fairy typing. And on top of that, he has a surprising 361 defense. Of course, it is with his EVs maxed out in defense and HP. For moves, we're running Charm to lower Cinderace's attack, and we also have Helping Hand to boost our teammates' attacks. We'll have Misty Terrain to protect any Pokemon on the ground from status effects. And then we'll have Draining Kiss just to keep us alive and not hurt that timer. So for Doxbun, we start off with the Charm to lower Reverum's defense, and then we use the Misty Terrain, which does not protect us from the taunt. So once we get hit by the taunt, we have to start throwing Draining Kisses, which at least keeps us in the raid, especially after we do take a few big hits. And then we just use Helping Hand on the Staraptor and Draining Kiss when we have to. We did not end up beating the raid, but I feel like that's not all Doxbun's fault. And those are all the more fun builds that I will be using for the Cinderace raids. If you enjoyed any of the builds or trying them out yourself, let me know. Or if you have any suggestions for other builds or any questions, I'd be happy to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for joining for today's lesson. Until next time, bye!